Hey, Steiny, you're doing a wonderful job. Guess what, Steiny? You are not doing a great job.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
What happened to you? That collective roar you heard about an hour ago is the Bay Area cheering on Philmo Mike after he put me in my place.
Can I tell
you got checked.
This was so fun. I got in the car and turned the ignition on, and the radio is just on. And it just pops on, and those were the first words I heard. And I'm like, what's happening?
That ain't good.
Steiny, let me tell you, you are not doing a good job. And I was like, wait, where are we? What's happening right now?
But if you two could do us a favor, because I'm throwing it to you and Dibs, we come in here, we don't have scripts, but we knew what we were trying to talk about, and then it went down the rabbit hole. How would you describe the show today that you heard, the part that you did that... Because I'm not throwing eggs.
Tell us how good we were.
I understand how the one where I understand he was riding for his guy. Now, the stuff after that, you got to deal with it, but
I love
they love him, so I got to love him if they love him, Dibs.
I love it when shows start one spot and end up organically somewhere completely different. And I actually don't think you guys did end up somewhere completely different. That's you guys have a conversation, and that's where it went. And that makes it real, and that's what makes it interesting, I thought. You know what I mean? Like, you guys always, like, especially you, I mean, it gets very, very energetic sometimes. And
sometimes.
I get that. Well, I mean, about this guy. Yeah.
Well, let me do this.
What do you think we're going to talk about today?
No, I listened yesterday. It was
Pat
great.
Burrell, new hitting coach. Your thoughts?
John Fisher, 4
Are you
hours.
serious?
No, I'm not serious.
Oh, my God.
Why would you think I was being serious?
Because it was just fringy enough to be possible.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Not really.
No, that's the only mention that Pat the Bat will get between 2 and 6. I promise you.
Oh my
We'll
God.
call him the machine from here on out.
That was a great little snooker right there.
That was great.
Snooker joke.
So here's is it dramatic one way or the other? No, but it's like I just feel like, you know what? I don't think he's worth it anymore. We've talked.
That's funny.
We've talked about the good outweighing the bad and this, that, and the other thing, and it's just like, and here's the thing: he got 5 games, and that is a part of this for me because I thought that was high. I thought it was high. I thought he was getting 2 or 3.
It was on the high end of what most people thought.
Guru thought 10.
Guru thought 10. He was the only one who overshot.
The league is going to just keep up. And so now it's like the league's trying to screw him. Well, what are we going to do? We have this guy on the team that's going to be penalized more and more and more and more and more.
And he's not going to change.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the other part of it.
And
are they trying to screw him? It's in ink. They're writing it down. They're like, we are going to keep making this worse because of your history.
Exactly.
They wrote that.
That scares me.
I think that's totally fair
and so
on the part of the league.
Now I'm looking ahead and saying the guy's skills are diminishing. To what degree? Who cares? And this is clearly not going to only continue. It may escalate. You know what? Maybe it's time. He's not worth it anymore, I don't think. Because I don't think they're a championship team.
What are you advocating?
Well, I'm not advocating. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
If he's not worth it, he has 310 more regular season games under contract.
I have made.
Will he play in?
First of all, I'm not paying. In my mind, I don't believe they're a championship team anymore with him. Like, this is not going to get it done. And this is not going to stop. And this is going to prevent the Warriors from winning enough games that they're going to be able to come from the 7th spot. So I'm going to switch it on everybody. So I'm at the point now where it's like, if you believe, if Joe Lacob or anybody in there believes, like me, they probably don't, that they're not a championship team, why would you keep Draymond Green?
Well, what could you get for him?
I haven't,
No, I'm just wondering.
And I'm not saying that I
think it's fair, though, to take that next step. Because, and I'll take your premise as possible, if not probable fact, that with him, you are not a championship team anymore. So you're going to trade Draymond Green. And that's the only way that you're going to get out from underneath the Draymond problem. Right. So what can you get for Draymond Green? He's only making $22 million this year, 22-ish So what can you get for Draymond Green and a guy who's got 3 and 78 left and a guy who is diminishing and a guy who is one chokehold away from 8 games or 14 or 22 or whatever? What is his market value?
I think it's a great question. And I do think that, okay, so Lacob and those guys are in there. Is it possible they got the contract, they're going to give this thing another shot, but there may have been some reservations here and there inside the organization about whether they should do it.
Well,
and all I'm saying, Mark, is I think it's fair to at some point, Lacob, 6 weeks ago, we have a chance to win this thing. There may be a point during the course of this year where you realize we're not winning.
Maybe.
Okay, and I guess that's all I'm saying. If they get to that point, then what do we do?
Well, what are their options? That's where I think Dibs is coming from when you say, what are you advocating is even if we go backwards, because this is one question I'd love to ask today. Would you take the contract back if you could?
Tap, no backs.
I would.
You would?
I would.
Do you think they would?
Probably not. Because
Would he? And by he, I don't mean Joe. I mean the real power broker down there at Chase Center.
Curry?
The chef.
Yeah.
Would the chef go to Joe and say, you know what, Joe? 4 and 100. That's going to be a no from me, Joe.
Because Myers said on ESPN how it went down. Well, that he would call Steph. Steph, what you wanted. Steph had the gravitas to do just what he was saying.
Do you think Steph agrees with you that he's not worth it anymore?
I don't know.
Well, 6 weeks ago, a couple months when that contract was signed,
and Mark,
he didn't agree.
Mark, this is where you and I do have stuff in common.
Finally.
Where
2 years in.
Wow. I'm not saying
there was that one day.
He and I were both gone. There's no choice.
There can be somewhere in the middle of Steph Curry saying to Joe Lacob, don't you ever trade Draymond Green without my permission or I'll make life hell for you. And I don't think we can win without him, Joe. I mean, I just don't. Maybe I might feel differently in the future, but I think we got to roll with him. There's a difference there. You know what I mean? And maybe we're at the point. Maybe here's what is it possible that last offseason they said to Curry, here we go. Look, we can't keep him. And maybe he said, look, I think we need Draymond, but do what you got to do. Because I get we had a problem.
But what about this? Forget the sort of angle we're taking with regard to championships. Is Steph better when Draymond's playing with him?
So far, that's a yes.
I take the insult to that.
Remember 2 years ago, the championship year when he had the back injury, and I felt like, if I remember, when he came back, there was 2 weeks where we went, whoa, Steph looks way better all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because
Steph
Draymond
and
was
make
back.
each other better.
Okay, well, to me, that feels kind of like a really big hammer. If we all agree that Steph Curry's a better basketball player when Draymond is on the floor, I think the rest of our conversations are just noise. That to me, that's the end-all be-all. And if we agree on that, then I'm not saying the other points don't have water, but they lose. They're all losing points if Steph Curry is a better player with Draymond Green.
Correct. All I'm saying is there's a big difference between Steph Curry saying, ride or die with Draymond, as opposed to, I think we still need him to win a title. As long as you guys feel that way too, we're on the same page. If you ever get to the other way, I'm willing to talk about it. But, I mean, I don't think he says to Joe Lacob, Draymond's got to be here at all costs. Otherwise, you got trouble with me. I think he's way more subtle than that and diplomatic, and is probably like, if you think we can't win it without him or with him anymore, then, do what you got to do.
What would they have even done with that $100 million or $24 million if they hadn't re-signed Draymond Green?
Essentially nothing.
Nothing.
Kept Jordan Poole. Now, they would have probably kept Jordan Poole because they would have been at the same.
Right.
Assuming they wanted to.
Steiny, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You wouldn't let both of them go and have no replacement from the salary standpoint.
You wouldn't have traded Jordan Poole for Chris Paul if Draymond was gone?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that. But all I'm saying is I don't think they would have, they still would have been in the same, they got off Jordan Poole and they had to get off Jordan Poole because they ended up paying Draymond Green $100, but they wouldn't have paid Draymond Green $100 and traded Jordan Poole because, maybe they would have because they couldn't stand on both. I shouldn't say that, but all I'm saying is the money part of it with Poole worked out. They got rid of Poole, which in a sense allowed them to re-sign Draymond.
They gained financial flexibility in the move, and they also got him off of the roster, which they needed to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was
I agree with that. Yeah. I wonder, though, what about you? If you could go back and take the contract back, would you? Draymond?
I would.
You would?
Yeah. And
why? That surprised me.
Because it's you need to evolve. And the good things that Draymond has done, what he means to Curry, that's run its course. You need Draymond to be Kuminga, what we wanted Kuminga to be, the next Sean Kemp, something that's dominant that can the Looney combo with Dre and the spacing, those days are over. You maximize that to the fullest with 4 chips. The last one was in 2022, and Dre had to come off the bench at the end. So to me, it was time. You still got the spark plug that is the chef, and you thought you'd have Wiseman, and you thought Kuminga would have that leap year, and it didn't happen. But if you told me you could turn Kuminga into what I want for this team, you can start having something on the block, a low post presence to where everything is not just from the outside, I would have did that in a millisecond. But I'm going to pass it to you. The Warriors gave Draymond Green the DMV, the license to do what he wants to do, and that's beat to his own drum. And that's why I just stopped.
But who was working at window 12 when they called Draymond's number C-132 after he waited? Wrong answer. Steph Curry was working that DMV window. All right. The chef. Yeah. And Joe Lacob is the head of the DMV, but Steph was working window 12 when Draymond's number finally got called at Hagenberger after a 2-hour and 45-minute wait.
I'm okay with that. I love it. I'm okay with that then because that's what I'm telling Steiny.
You need to go to Hagenberger once in your life.
I've been there.
And I'm not just talking to you, Mark. I'm talking to everybody. That place, if I was ever going to make a movie, it would be called Hagenberger DMV. Yeah. That place. Quest driver's test, my son, when he passed, he had multiple obstacles that you don't get in Corte Madera.
Wow.
You don't catch those down in the peninsula. The obstacles that he faced were unique to Hagenberger.
You need to be strategic when you pick a DMV for your driver's test. I've learned this. I didn't even know this when I turned 16.
I
go to whatever DMV you want.
Corte Madera.
Yeah. I go to where we do. Everybody's like the further north you get, the easier the test gets. I'm like, well, let's go to Wairika then. What's going on up there?
Quest got dinged for a loose shopping cart. He made an evasive maneuver because of a shopping cart that, for some reason, on 78th and International, happened to break free and careening across 4 lanes. And he's supposed to pause and signal and check the blind spot. F out of here, DMV.
Yeah, Mary Page with a Walnut Creek.
Solid. Yeah. Now defunct, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Walnut Creek DMV RIP.
All the high school kids have it wired.
They know.
They really do.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh.
You want to talk about usage of analytics.
Totally.
I mean, they know
the names of the people.
Exactly.
They're like, if you go on a Tuesday, Bill's there, you don't want him.
Dude, no doubt.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, they know everything.
Anyway, to your point about who issued the license, I do believe Steph was the final stamp. Joe doesn't do that with Draymond unless Steph signs off on it. And I do think that Steph is better with Draymond there. And so, to me, all this boils down to you want him on that wall. You need him on that wall. It's a few good men, and Draymond plays the role of Jack Nicholson and Colonel Jessup because, you know what? Colonel Jessup, Draymond, we do need you on that wall.
So you're not tired
You're
of the
listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Goo.
You give me nothing for the 4-on-5 has ran its like that's kind of ran out of gas?
It's not 4-on-5.
It is.
It's 3-on-5
No,
because
he
your
gets the ball
boy
and
K-Wig
gets
is
out
on the
front
weak side,
and
not
never
doing
is gonna
anything.
take it to the
say
rack.
Looney.
You know, and Chris Paul's doing that. You're dribbling off fast like you're going somewhere, and I know where you're going to end up. Right at the free throw line, because you ain't taking it right in there like Draymond. Oh, I'm going to be faster than anybody. But guess what? Slow down, because you ain't going to do nothing without the rest of the game. And that has run its course.
It almost sounds like you don't think they're a championship team.
No, they can manipulate it like they've done.
Right.
But they need Wiggins. Don't know what's going on. They need Kaminga. Don't know what's going on. Boy, it's bigger than K-Wig.
I mean, it's the number one station in town. Yeah,
2 towers.
And I hate that I was first to that, and I also hate that thing was put to bed off of 2 great weeks, but it's back. And you know what, Goo? They won 4 titles playing 4-on-5, and with Looney it's 3-on-5, and with Wiggins it's 2-on-5, and with Clay shooting like he is, you know what? It's 1-on-5. And if it's 1-on-5, then it's a wrap, like Saran.
So it sounds to me like you don't think they're a championship team.
Oh, they sure are. You're damn right they are. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a small sample size, Brock Purdy. Okay. Can Wiggins be better? I mean, yeah, we've seen it. Can Kuminga grow into being the player that we thought that he was?
How long we waiting?
Shirtless Kuminga in the summer, stroking triples.
Oh, preseason he was Durant.
Yes. So am I ready to give up on Kuminga? Hell no. Can Wiggins shake off the costal fracture that he has or whatever he has and be better? Of course. Can Clay actually play like he used to? I think a little bit. Maybe not pre-surgery Clay, but Clay could be better.
2022 Clay. It was good enough.
Chris Paul's up to 20% from 3.
As we're poised to enter 2024.
Willard, how'd you answer?
Well, I just think that look, you look at all. First of all, yes, this season has all kinds of stories that are still going to unfold. We've played 12 basketball games.
Man.
And we fall prey to this every single year with every single team, right? The 49ers were dead a week ago. Now they're the best team in the NFL. And we get to see what we're going to be on Monday. Watch if they were accidentally to lose to the Bucs or something.
No way.
Right? I'm taking the week off. So anyway, forget that idea of no, they can't, or even yes, they can. I have no idea. Is it within the realm of possibility that the Warriors play way better? Sure. Is it within the realm of possibility that they're a play-in tournament team? Absolutely. Those things are all on the table depending on the way this unfolds. But to sort of go back to the fundamental question, which I think is just fatigue. I don't think a lot of people who have their point of the Warriors are better off without Draymond, I don't think there's a lot of evidence to that.
And I'm not
I don't think you can make that point. I think you're just worn out. And I get it. He wears people out. Steve Kerr, and I quote, I'm so bleeping sick of Draymond. And that was 6 years ago.
I'll never forget
He was already sick of him. So this is just fatigue, and I totally get it. But I don't see any functional thing to do about it or any productive thing to do about it with the whole, get rid of Draymond thing.
Well,
real talk.
Again,
he sounds like the Warriors.
I came in today after seeing a 5-game suspension, which I thought was too much, and hearing everybody saying, not everybody, but hearing Draymond's too important. And I'm just thinking, well, I didn't think they were a championship team last year, and they weren't. And I don't think they are this year, or had a very and I don't think they are. And yes, an accumulation of stuff with Draymond has now led me to believe, can they even get through it? But here's the thing. It's not just 5 games. See, because what happens here, Mark, is that he's going to miss the next 5 games. Maybe 2 or 3 are with Steph, without Steph. And so somebody's going to come on, and they're going to get over it somehow. And it'll be 0-5, 1-4. And then Draymond will come back. And then that'll change again. So it'll be through 20 games, 21 games, just uncertainty, a little instability. And then maybe it's going to happen again down the line. A season has enough of those with injuries and stuff like that. And I just feel I think we know it's going to happen again. I think we know the league is going to probably hammer him worse and worse and worse. It's it's just going to add instability for a while. And it's too hard for us to overcome now because we don't have Durant and Steph's not as all that stuff. That's just kind of where I'm at.
No, and I think that's the safer play, and that's the safer opinion in terms of how this most likely will end. I look at last year.
It's an easy position because I'm detached. You're right.
No, you're detached and you're prone to the anti-positivity. And I'm not going to call you negative because that would be a negative statement. And I've known you, Steiny, for a long time. And
You know me, Andy.
Steiny, that's one of my all-time favorite moments in off-air TV history. I've told it before, and I'll tell it again, damn it. Not today, because we're on topic. But you are prone to sensible skepticism, I will call it. Not negativity, sensible skepticism. And you're skeptical, and you should be. And last year, not everything went right, and you still won a series, and you had a series that was, quote-unquote, winnable, and you didn't win it for a number of reasons. And so can this team be in that same spot where, yeah, maybe you're the 8th seed and you win the play-in and you get the 6 and you beat the 3 and then you go up against the 4 and maybe you win, maybe you don't. I do think that this team has the championship pedigree, the veterans, and if healthy, they could be a team that winning 16 games in the postseason is very difficult.
So skeptical is an interesting word, though, because
sensibly skeptical.
Sensible skepticism.
Yeah.
Great phrase.
Thank you.
Any sports team, any given year, skepticism about winning it all makes sense. I mean, there was a year that Durant was here that they didn't even win a title. The 49ers
but
right
no
now.
one was skeptical of them winning the title.
But if we ask 49er fans right now, are you skeptical that they can win a title? I think most fans would be like, no, I'm not skeptical at all. Well, the analytics say there's about a 13% chance that they even make the Super Bowl.
Right. Which is the third highest, right?
Like
that we talked about.
It's worse than a backup catcher getting a base hit when he comes to the plate.
I love that.
And you're
Bob
incredibly skeptical when that backup catcher comes to the plate that he's going to drive in that runner from second. So, again, I'll circle back to what are we actually asking when we say, I feel this 5-game suspension. I hear a lot of people sound like, the title chances just took a hit. Really?
Nobody's.
What really just happened?
I don't think it's just 5 of 82 as a fraction.
Call it 10.
Well,
how does that really change the calculus?
I think it only changes it for those 5 games. That's 582, just tangible.
But say what we talked about,
I think there's intangibles, though.
Put the rat on the table, brought to you by Atco. In these 20 quarters that they're about to play, if it don't go OT, is somebody trying out for a bigger role? Is Lacob and company going to see somebody like TJD or Kuminga say, here I go. This is what life looks at. I'm not being a hater.
Is that a bad thing?
No, but I do wonder.
Draymond came back in the playoffs last year and said, let me come off the bench, please.
So I do wonder what's really at stake. Obviously, you want to win the game for others in Draymond's position if they kind of quote-unquote ball out, or is that too small a sample size? 5 games.
And hopefully Steph's back sooner rather than later. Hopefully. Because that's the other thing. If he's not, then what the young guys do, I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything, but it means nothing because Steph changes everything. So they might help you without Steph, and I hope they do, but then they're going to have to help you again when the big boy comes back.
Am I the only one mad that he's out so early, the chef?
Man.
What did he play last year? 58?
I tried to find out how soon he missed his first game.
He played 58 games last year.
He's probably going to be back on Saturday.
58?
Yes,
I'm going Saturday, Willard. All right, I'm going to text you if
He'll
not.
probably be back on Saturday.
All right,
you going tonight with Evan?
Yeah, Evan, Steiny, Evan and I
Plus
go.
3.
We'll be able to see him on
Plus
TV.
3.
For sure.
He's not in the bleeds?
No bleed. Steiny not going.
No.
Yeah.
Take the kid. Take the kid. On 95.7 The Game.